You call yourself a man? You know you're a lying, low-life, motherfucking gambling degenerate prick. You know that's what you are?
Well, hello you degenerate fucks, and welcome to The Degenerate Gambler. It is Thursday, the 28th of January, and we're just here with a look ahead to the weekend's fixtures. So, let's get straight into it. Before I do, I'm also going to give a review of my outright bets that I did at the start of the season. It's around about halfway in most of the leagues, so just a quick look through it. A couple looking alright, one or two are dead in the water, but we'll get to that. Let's just look ahead to Saturday. So, main bet will probably be overs, as it has been for the last couple of weeks now. So I'll just go through the games. As I say, with this, the research is always just whether the games historically have goals or whether the teams that are playing are scoring goals at present. So, first game, Hull versus Swindon, over 2.5 is 4-6, which is 1.67. Bolton versus Leyton Orient is 9-10, which is 1.9. Brentford versus Wickham is 4-6, which is 1.67. Southampton versus Villa, which is 8-11, which is 1.73. And Halifax versus Maidenhead, which is 10-11, which is 1.9. So altogether, those five odds up to about 16-1. So that's a decent bet. 10 on that, you'll come back with 170 odds, I think it is. So, pretty decent. So, now we'll move on to the other side bet, which is teams to win. It wasn't the easiest to look this week to have a pick, but first team I went for was Cambridge. Cambridge are at home to Crawley. Cambridge top of the league, Crawley 12th. Form-wise, both teams in decent form. 11 points each out of the last 5 games. They've actually both scored 7 and conceded 4, so, pretty identical form. Cambridge, second best home record in the league, plays Crawley, who are like mid-table as far as away form. I think Cambridge have won the last 4 fixtures against Crawley at home. So that's my thinking with that one. Next is Blackpool. Blackpool are at home to Burton. And they're 8-11, which is 1.73. Again, both teams aren't in great form. Blackpool home form is decent, so their last 5 home games, they drew with West Brom in the Cup. They beat Hull, which was a great result. Drew with Oxford, beat Portsmouth, and then the one before that was Leeds under 21s. They beat those as well. And they also won the last game in 2018 against Burton at home. So, again, the form isn't brilliant. It's not like Blackpool are flying or anything, but I would fancy them at home against Burton, whose away form is the worst in the league. Only 8 points at home all season from 12 games. So move on. Next one I'm going to the Championship, and it is a team that are actually in great form. I should have had them at the weekend, and that is Swansea. Swansea are away to Rotherham. Rotherham had a good result there midweek. They beat Middlesbrough. Back Middlesbrough, that's 10-0. And Rotherham are in decent form. 7 points in the last 5 games. Swansea 11 points. Swansea currently sitting second in the league. As I say, decent form. Home form from Rotherham is mid-table. So Rotherham are actually not the best home team, while Swansea have the 4th best away record. They've actually got 21 points from 12 games. So, again, I'm looking at that. Let's look at the fixtures between the two. Swansea have won the last 2, but they were both at home. Rotherham in 2018 beat them at home. But still, as far as the form goes, that should go Swansea's way, but who knows. The next 2 are both in the conference, which I've been looking at the last couple of weeks. You know what? most of the time the conference results go the way they're supposed to go. But in saying that, I've backed Torquay a few times, and as I think I've done a tweet about it, saying that every time I back them, they end up drawing or getting beat. So if I back them every week, they'd probably get relegated, never mind win the league. But I've done it again this week. So Torquay are away to Barnet. Basically, they're 3-4, which is 1.75. Sorry, did I give the prices out for them? So I'll just run through the prices. Sorry if them ones I mightn't have done. Cambridge at home to Crawley is 23-20, which is 2.15. Blackpool at home to Burton is 8-11, which is 1.73. Swansea away to Rotherham is 5-4, which is 2.25. And then I say Torquay away to Barnet, which is 3-5 and is 1.75. As I say, form ways, Torquay are sitting top of the league. Their form, they've only got 8 points in the last 5, but Barnet have none. They've got the best away record. Torquay plays the worst home record. Now that is form. If this doesn't come in, I don't know what the fuck how anybody picks a selection. I mean, I don't know. Best away record plays worst home record. It should be a banker. 3-5, I think that's a great price considering, that it is what it is. Best away record plays worst home record. Anyway, move on. Last but not least, Solihull Moors, who've had a couple of decent wins recently, are at home to Wealdstone. They actually started the season not bad, but haven't been great recently. Last 5 games, Solihull are 6th, 9 points in 5 games. Wealdstone have only got 3 points. Solihull, 3rd best home record after Torquay and Notts County. Wealdstone, 19th in away record. Games against each other, they've never played each other. So Solihull's form is patchy when you look at it overall, but their home form, last 5, they've won 4 and get beat once by Bromley. So, and Wealdstone's away form, 1 draw, 4 defeats in the last 5. So that all together comes to a 22-1. So it'll probably be a fiver on that. That'll pay somewhere in the region of 120, 115, 120, something like that. So I'm happy enough with that. And then obviously I'll have the other wee picks, the draws. I'm actually looking at an early bet on Saturday because there's a lot of early games. I'm just going to run this through this quickly. I haven't decided how much to put on this, or I was just looking at it when I noticed how many games. So Carlisle play early. Not sure who they play. That's League 2. They play Exeter. And overs in that game is evens, which I think is a great price. Who else? There's Norwich are early. They're 4-5. Would fancy that. Everton's early. 1-2. I would fancy that. Sevilla early. Around evens. Would fancy that. And Sunderland are early. 4-7. Would fancy that. I haven't calculated that up. It wouldn't be the biggest price, but it might be worth the old fiver to get you a bit of a free weekend. I'll have to look at that closer. I just looked through the games and those teams sort of jumped out. I haven't studied form too much on that, but anyway, moving on to the nap of the week. So this week's nap was not picked by a tipster page. It was tipped by a follower and someone who has followed from the beginning, and someone who regularly sends me his bets, and he does quite well. He seems to take a decent amount of money off the bookmakers. He wins a lot, or at least a decent amount. His name's Zoony, and he has sent me a double, which is Eintracht Frankfurt at home to Hertha Berlin, and they are 8-11, which is 1.73. It's a 2:30 game, which doesn't really bother me. I had a Germany game in there last week. Looking at the form, as I say, I've had a quick look, and it looks pretty good. Frankfurt are 6th in the league. Hertha 14th. Form ways, Hertha 13 points in the last 5 games. So they've basically they win 4 and draw 1. And Hertha have only got 4 points in the last 5 games. Frankfurt decent at home, 8th. Herta 15th. So pretty decent form. Last 5 games, Herta 3 defeats, a draw and a win. Eintracht Frankfurt 3 wins, a draw and a defeat. One of those must have been in the cup But at home, Herta win their last 2, beat Schalke, beat Leverkusen. Herta get beat by Banfield and drew with Cologne. So yeah, 8-11, decent price. So moving on to the next one, which was a team I said there that Zuni actually put me on to when he tipped it, was Norwich. Norwich at home. I have it here as 5-6, but it may be down to 4-5 now. But even still, that's still decent. And they're home to Middlesbrough. And Middlesbrough have been on a bit of bad form recently, as I know because I backed them myself. But it's first place 7th. Form ways, it's 4th place 15th. And I'd say it's second best home record. Norwich plays mid-table away record. Last 5, Norwich win 4 and they were beaten by Barnsley in the last game. Middlesbrough 1 win and 5, 4 defeats. Middlesbrough have won the last 2 against them at home, and their last 5 home games have got 4 wins and 1 draw. So at 4-5, 5-6, whatever the price may turn out to be, as long as it's around that, I think it's decent. That 4-5, I wrote down here is 5-6, which is 1.83. If it's 4-5, that's 1.8. So you're not really losing that much on the price. So put those together, and that comes up. It's about 2.3 to 1. So we'll say a tenner on that. I'll get you back 33. I'll get you a free weekend if that comes in. So thanks to Zuni for the pick. I think I've got somebody lined up for next week. I'll be contacting some other pages through my Instagram and my Twitter. As I've said, if I do contact you, I'm not asking for winners. I'm just asking for honest picks, and it can be a bet that you're about to share on your own page. Share it. I'll put it through mine. It could be a bet that you're going to give away for free anyway. It's just a way for us, to try and get sort of a community where people get to see each other, see each other's picks, see each other's bets, tip each other some good winners, hopefully. But yeah, so that's this week's. I'll give Zuni a mention in the description of the episode and on the tweet. I'll give you his Twitter handle if anyone's want to give him a follow. He's a nice guy. As I say, he picks some decent bets. So, quickly just look at Sunday at a glance. Say no research, nothing, just looked at it. So I would fancy Leicester at home to Leeds. They're about 5-6, which is 1.83. I would fancy Liverpool away to West Ham. They're 5-4, which is a great price. It's 1.8 something. Oh no, they're 5-6 as well. Sorry, looked at that wrong. That's 1.83 as well. I would fancy Spurs away to Brighton, who are 23-20, which is 2.15. Great price that. I would fancy Monaco away to Nantes at 4-5, which is 1.8. Atalanta and Lazio overs, which, if anybody's seen, I think they played each other last night, and it was 2 each at half time. 4-9, which is 1.44. And then Atletico Madrid away to Cadiz, 4-9, 1.44. So that's what jumped out. I say I might have missed some, who knows? But that's what jumped out at me. So before I go in and give a quick review of my outright bets, just looking at midweek. Midweek's another pretty packed week. Fixture ways, definitely Tuesday night. Tuesday night there's 4 Premier League, 5 Championship, 4 League 1, 5 League 2, 8 National League. There's an EFL Trophy, 4 games. Northern Ireland Premiership, the German Cup. The games aren't great in that. You're not going to get too much money made in that. There's 3 Scottish Premier League games. So, Tuesday, pretty decent. Wednesday, 5 Premier League games, a Championship game. There's a full fixture list in French League 1. More German Cup. There's a Coppa Italia game. More Scottish Premiership, Scottish Championship. So there's probably a bet those 2 nights. Thursday, one Premier League game, pretty much like tonight, which that game is Spurs-Chelsea. It's a good game. So that's midweek. So now we're going to go on to the review of my outright bets. If you've been following for a while, you would have seen them. I posted them a few times maybe when I've done the first review on originally at the start of the season. So I'm just going to run through them quickly and then I'll go back. So I have a £5 outright on Lyon to finish top 3, Stoke to get promoted, Tranmere to get promoted, Madrid to win the league, Hull to get promoted, and Cluj to win the league. I have a £20 outright on Burnley to finish in the top half, Wickham to be relegated, Tranmere to finish in the top 7, Peterborough top 6, and Plymouth or Nats County to be promoted. I have another £15 one on Bolton to win the league, which is fucked. Bolton to win the league, Juventus to win the league, Newcastle top half, and Dundee top 6. And then lastly, I have a top goal scorer bet, which is each team. This person will be the top Premier League scorer for their team. So Ali Watkins, Raheem Sterling, Callum Wilson, Mo Salah, Richarlison, and Martial. Now I'm sure a few of them names jumped out there, and you realised how shit some of them are. But anyway, so I'm going to go through them. So here we go. First one, Lyon to finish top 3. Lyon are currently sitting, top of the league, second? Yeah, well, actually they are third now. 43 points, 2 points behind the leaders, PSG and Lille. So that's going well. Stoke to get promoted. Stoke are 8th, 9th, 37 points, Bournemouth 42, so with 5 points, still going to be a decent shout. Not too bad, that one. Tranmere is, what's that? Is that League 2? Tranmere, I don't think are doing great. But Tranmere sitting 8th. So they're level points with Salford and 1 point behind Carlisle. So they're near enough sitting in the playoffs. So they're very, very close to the playoffs. Madrid to win the league. That Spanish league is fucking Jesus. It's really bad. Nobody wants to win it, but they're 7 points behind Atletico Madrid, who probably have that league wrapped up. I mean, let's face it, Madrid and Barcelona are terrible this year. And that was what price were they? They were 10 to 11. Hull to get promoted. Hull was Manap. Hull were 7 to 2, and Hull, I just fancied, as I said in the episode at the time. Grant McCann, good manager. The Saints and players for that level who have done it before, and now they're sitting second. So yeah, and then Cluj. Where's Cluj? Yeah, Cluj are sitting second, 2 points behind Storybrooke Arrest, who have a game of hand on. So that one's not looking too bad. I need Stoke. It's probably going to be, out of them, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll probably end up getting about 4 up. Madrid will fuck that up unless they go on a run, or one of the other teams might. But anyway, move on. Next one. So Burnley top half was looking fucking awful, but Burnley have actually made a decent wee thing. They're up 22 points, sitting 15th. The only problem is that Villa are 10th and they're on 29. It's a big gap. big gap. Wickham to get relegated was looking brilliant. I mean, they're still batting, but they've started to get a few more points. But I mean, they're 10 points from safety, which is Derby. Tranmere top 7, as I discussed. That means they don't even have to get promoted; they just have to finish in the playoffs. That looking decent. Peterborough are sitting 3rd, so that's looking good. And then Nats County is, if Burnley don't mess this up, Nats County are. I really fancied after last season being the biggest team in that league, and they've had a year to sort of accommodate. They're sitting 7th, so they still could go up. But don't forget, now the thing only one goes up automatic, which is at the minute Torquay, and they're 13 points ahead. Now, Nats County have a couple of games in hand, but their form's not great, so it might be the playoffs there. But that one still got a shout. Only Burnley, and Burnley's like Burnley could finish top half. They could. the way they're playing at the minute. Now, a big one, that £15 that I was listening to too many people talking about Bolton signing good players. Was Bolton to win the league, £15 on this. Where are they? Bolton are 19th, so I think it's safe to say that that's gone. 28 points, the leader has 42. Well, that's 14 points. That's not that big, but it's not going to happen. Juve having one of their worst seasons in God knows how long. Where are they? 4th, 36 points. AC Milan top, 43. Inter second, 41. Roma third, 37. So, look, that's probably not going to happen. Newcastle to finish the top half. Again, I sort of bought into the fact that they're saying Callum Wilson and this and that, and, you know, probably wrongly. But, I mean, it can still be done. They're sitting 16th on 19 points. But there you go. Burnley was in the bottom 3 for a long time there, and now Burnley are above them. And they have a game in hand. So that's probably going to do that one. And then Dundee was, if anybody listened to the episode at the start of the season, I napped them for the season before to win the league, and they had it won by Christmas. In fact, they paid out around about Christmas because they had the wee man Lawrence Shanklin up front, who at that level had scored lots of goals. But this season they are sitting 6th, exactly where they need to be. So that one's actually looking okay. They just need the sort of a bit more consistency in their form. But I say the wee man Lawrence Shanklin hasn't been scoring. He's only scored 4 or 5 goals this season. Whereas last year in 26 games he scored 24 goals and he basically got them into the Scottish Premier League. So that's that one. And last but not least, this bet, I shafted myself on this, I really, really did. So the top goal scorers. So Ali Watkins has 8 and Grealish has 6. So he's looking decent. Sterling has 6, but Gundogan has 7. But I would fancy Sterling to come back and beat him. Callum Wilson has 8. Next person has 2, which is Almiron. So he's won that. He could go out for the rest of the season. He still won that. Salah has 13. Next one is Mane with 6. So basically Salah has that one too. But the next 2, Richarlison. I picked Richarlison because he took the penalties. He played up front last season. And then Calvert-Lewin comes up this season, has the season of his life. So at the minute, Richarlison's on 4 goals in the league. And Calvert-Lewin's on 11. So that's basically near done. Unless Calvert-Lewin gets a bad injury, which I hope doesn't happen. But unless that happens, I'd say that's beat. And then the last one is the worst one. I really was going to pick Bruno. I was. But I went with Martial for United. He scored 2 goals. And if you look at it on Twitter or anywhere, United fans are fucking hating him. But, so Bruno's got 11, Rashford has 7, and Martial has 2. So that is gone. But anyway, some good picks and some fucking awful picks. But that's it for that. As I say, I'll maybe do another review towards the end of the season to see if I even have a sweat with any of them. But it looks unlikely. There's always one team in each or one selection in each that's doing me. But as for tonight, for Thursday, I might do a bet builder in the Liverpool game. I actually did one at the weekend I forgot to talk about. I picked the wrong centre half. I had the young lad Reece Williams to get booked, and corners and cards, and everything was up except he didn't get booked. I might do something similar tonight. Over corners for Liverpool, overall corners, and depending on what the team is, if Matip plays, maybe Matip to get booked. But anyway, I'll put that up later if I do that. So it just leaves me in the meantime to say, if you are doing a bet the weekend, good luck and happy punting.
Here, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, thanks. Let me find out you fucked up. I'll leave you wherever I find you.